It is 4:09 p.m. and we are having a personnel committee meeting for the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority. We have two items on our agenda today. The first one is discussion of the senior accountant job description. So I'll turn that over to you, Patty.
In light of some recent developments in the accounting department, we may need someone with an accounting background. The young ladies out back are account clerks. They don't have the accounting degree or the accounting background to do a lot of the thinking through an accounting process, if you will. So we feel that we need to subsidize what's out there with a senior accountant.
Okay.
This person would support the chief financial officer, financial monitoring, accounting operations, should have what they call fund accounting, or the understanding of monies coming in for a project can only be used for the project, the ins and outs of a project. What I would like to see is a senior accountant who would look for growth within the organization, who could possibly move up to, say, my position in a few years when I would like to retire.
Okay.
And that's why we're making it a management position instead of an hourly position. Most of the primary duties are straight from what you would look at in a senior accountant position, where they would reconcile general ledger accounts, reconcile the bank accounts, do the month-end closing. All of those are normal senior accountant jobs. Payroll and benefit management, they wouldn't actually do the payroll. It's not good for that person, for the person who does payroll, to be the person that oversees payroll. Accounting has a lot of segregation of duties, so a lot of these things are set so that someone else actually does the performance of the job, and then this person can manage it, oversee it, review it, reviewing outstanding accounts receivable, and manage the collection process. So someone else, we have an accounts receivable clerk, this person would oversee it and help get the collecting. Assist the chief financial officer with monthly statements and analysis, budget preparation, year-end closing. Assess internal controls. This I thought would be a good thing to have because we don't have it right now, and you're going to be bringing someone in who isn't familiar with us, so they might be able to assist a lot easier and say, oh, maybe we should do this for segregation of duties or more control on such. So I would like to have them take that on. And then oversee and support the accounting clerks. They're not, this senior accountant would not be their boss, but they would act similarly to our accounting supervisor in giving them tasks to do, some training if they need it, supporting them so that they can be as efficient and use as much of their talent as they can. We would like a bachelor's degree or higher in accounting or finance. None of the just business management sort of things. We need the actual accounting experience. 3 years of actual accounting experience, working knowledge of GASB and GAAP.
Would you just quickly run through that acronym?
GAAP is Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, and GASB is, I can't tell you what that is at the moment.
Okay, but okay.
It's similar to GAAP. That
Okay.
They're all the government.
Right. Standards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Practical knowledge of fund accounting, proficiency in Microsoft Office, especially Excel, strong communication skills, prefer familiarity with Sage BusinessWorks and Paychex Flex, which are the two things that we use, and proven ability to handle multiple projects and tasks simultaneously.
Okay. What is our timeline, Patty? What do we have in mind as far as, I mean, is this immediate? Okay, immediately.
This would go to the board because it is a management position. And why I was hoping that we could have this meeting soon was so that it would be ready for the August 10th board meeting. Then if the board approves it, then it goes out immediately to advertising.
Okay, I was going to ask about outlets for recruiting or for for recruiting, I guess. So would it go like on a local print media, Indeed?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a section on our website? Would we post it there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we could post it there.
Okay.
1 second, Jennifer. Government Accounting Standards Board, GASB, GASB.
Government
Accounting Standards Board.
Accounting.
I had the S,
Board.
but I didn't
Is that
have
right?
the
Standards board.
Okay.
board.
Yeah.
Okay.
How widely used is that Sage BusinessWorks, you know?
Not as widely thought as I think we thought it was when they purchased it. There are other things out there, and actually,
That's the fire system.
actually, I think even something like QuickBooks is much more widely used nowadays, and there are ways. I would say Sage is a bit more secure, but you can make any program secure in that you can say you have access to accounts payable, but nothing else. You have access to general ledger. Someone like the senior accountant, the chief financial officer would have access to the general ledger, but nobody could simply get in and change things. And so you can lock down many systems. Our system with Sage could be locked down more if we chose to, but we probably only have knowledge of 10% of what this system could even do for us. I don't think there's been enough training over the years for people to really know how to use it.
I'm just wondering, we're looking for someone who has experience.
Well, we would prefer it. We don't need to have
Right.
that. And with our maintenance package, we have a thing called Sage University.
I was going to ask about training for it.
Yes.
Okay.
And I find if I have a question, I'm on Sage University and away I go, and it usually tells me step by step what I need to do. The problem is when you need to know how to do it, you need to know right now.
Yeah.
And an hour later on Sage University, it's all of it is just difficult. When you need to know it right now,
Right.
it's hard.
You can kind of go down the rabbit hole of information when, right.
Yeah.
Next week, right.
do
So
this.
it's on the spot, right? Okay.
So that's what we're thinking
Okay.
time-wise is
So-
sooner than later,
Okay.
much sooner than later. The initial statement to me was that the employee thought they'd be out for 6 months. And as soon
Okay.
as the diagnosis and staging of treatment comes through, we have to more or less be ready to go.
Okay. Okay.
This position isn't in the budget, is it?
No. If the employee takes disability, that does not come out of our pocket. If the employee uses sick time, then yes, we would be paying for 2 employees for that portion. But if the person goes on disability, then it would not be
Okay.
a double take out of the
Right.
budget.
Is
But
this
the other side of that is we really need this position. As you said, we're looking at long-term. Hopefully this individual would be able to take over in the future if needed.
Mhm.
Okay?
So it's sort of a succession planning. We wouldn't have put that person in this fiscal year more than likely.
Right.
But this situation has
circumstances?
changed our timing.
Okay. Is this the time and place to talk about salary, or is there?
Nationwide,
You have a range,
We
eh?
have just a range.
nationwide, the national average is about 71, but the Ogdensburg national average, or the Ogdensburg average is 59, which is where Steve and I thought this position would be, probably higher 50s.
I'd rather consider 60 to 65.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean-
even before she said that, I think I said somewhere between, I said 55 and 65. And then Patty researched it and it kind of came right in the
Yeah,
middle.
right,
So,
right.
so
Again,
the
like
high end would be,
considering the level of responsibility, what we would be expecting, and then, considering that tentative plan for succession to really get, candidates that can bring skills to the table.
In light of where things are going.
Right?
I don't know what's Tony.
Yeah, Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to think back because I know when we met about the job that we talked about previously, I feel like 65 was around where we had kind of settled on that one. I know they're like completely different jobs, but what is like the workload comparison between the two? Because right now, if we do 65 for this one, those are at like the same salary. Are they kind of like equal amount of responsibility and leadership, or like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I feel like we should consider the fact that this is what we put for the other position. And I know they're different, but I just didn't know what the responsibility and expectations were compared to the other one.
That's a good point, right? Are you getting at, Tony, maybe looking sort of at them side by side, looking at what we're expecting as far as educational level, experience, that sort of, is that what you're getting at? It just.
Yeah, I just didn't know if these positions were like horizontal in like the structure of, the OBPA, if they were similar responsibilities, similar kind of like leadership level, similar educational requirements, just because I would hate to expect something so much from someone for a position that they're getting, less pay than someone else in the company is getting more pay for less responsibilities. So I just didn't know if that was like a consideration, or if anybody, I'm not really sure which position would have more like responsibilities, like the economic developer position that we talked about last time.
I think they're so different in composition and what I expect out of each one of those positions that, on paper, it may look like, the salary is the same, but my expectations are different on what they would do. This senior accountant would be someone who could bring together all the accounting functions in that department and then work well with the CFO and possibly move up, where the other position, they're pretty much on their own more, but working with Steve and every other position because of the nature of an industrial developer or whatever the title may be. Dollar wise, I don't know, maybe until we start interviewing people, I'm not quite sure exactly what the market is calling for out there.
Mm.
Very good, right.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of my question, is just, I didn't even know if they could be compared. I know that they're very different. I just was thinking in the back of my head, you know, I would hate to pay someone significantly less or significantly more for like less work or more work, but
Right.
I mean, I do think like 60 to 65, just from doing a little bit like New York State, I think the average was like around, 74, but of course the city bumps our average up in the state a little bit more
Right.
than up here. But I think that Ogdensburg salary estimate is probably closer to what's competitive and fair up here.
Sounds good to me.
It's a good point, Tony. I'm glad good point to bring up. Point of discussion. Okay, so do we have anything more to say? So from here, we
Well, I think
we adopt the job
yeah, the
description
description.
and salary. Again, salary again is what, Patty, we're going to advertise it as within a range or at a set price. Did we?
We're gonna do a range.
Okay,
I think a range.
60 to 65,
60 to 65.
right, Tony? So
Yeah, I'm
range-
happy with 60 to 65. I mean, the wording could be 60 to 65, or it could be starting at 60 based on experience, or however you guys want to do it. That would be fine with me. But I think 60 to 65 is good.
I like the range because then people that either overqualified or are currently getting paid more will know that if you just say starting at, they may think that we can go higher, but really this is what we're looking for. And not that you don't want, but I don't want people and then it all gets down to, yeah, we want you. Yes, you are qualified, but we're $25,000 less than what you expect. So.
Yeah, and then they're disappointed and we're disappointed and it was a waste of everybody's time. Yeah, I think setting the range that way and everything's clear for both sides is good.
Good.
How about you, Patty?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So for the August 10th meeting, do I need a motion to?
Or just a recommendation.
Just a recommendation to adopt the senior accountant job description, the salary range of 60 to 65,000 for our next meeting, so we can move forward with posting,
Yes.
Right.
interviewing, and hiring.
And that's what we already recommended.
We did the other one.
We
Yeah.
did the other one. That's already gone before the full board, didn't that last meeting?
Right, but our next step is I think we have to move forward am I correct, how we're going to advertise and where?
Yes.
For
Starting
both
in
of them.
September.
Really for both of them.
Right,
And
okay,
that was the sheet there to take a look at that. And
Right.
okay,
kind of, we talked about different areas. We tried to get
right,
those and that kind of gives you an idea. If you went everywhere there, you'd be looking at, this is
Oh,
just for
I
one
see.
position.
Do we have both of those? The developer position and this one, has that been sent to us?
The
Full
approved one.
board?
Mhm.
That one,
That went,
Right.
right, did,
Could you send both? Because I can't seem to find the other one.
okay, yeah, We did adopt it. at full
Probably
board,
deleted it.
Right, okay,
Thank you.
okay.
So you want to talk about the cost and where we advertise?
Sure, I'll basically just be reading from the sheet, but this is, so this would be, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll just summarize
Right.
for you. Kind of, Anne Marie really did all this work, but
Okay,
so like North Country Now, everyone pretty much knows that it's an online, but also there is the paper, and it's not an everyday thing. It's not weekly.
right.
It is a weekly paper, but that kind of self-explanatory there. The Watertown Times, on the janitor position that I didn't make you aware of, we were going to advertise what I thought we needed, and Anne Marie sent that to them, and they came up with close to, what was it, for 2 days a week? It was over $900 for 2 days a week. So we reduced that, right? And then we put the more detailed one on our website, and we referenced that, but it still was reduced down to what, roughly $600. So that's quite pricey.
Yes.
And then just thinking ahead here, and Anne Marie and I talked about this, you'll get into some of these now. For like Indeed and ZipRecruiter are kind of self-explanatory. They're an online thing. Going a month with them, to me, isn't crazy because people just kind of go on. But then when you, like the Press Republicans in Plattsburgh, I don't know, 7 days a week for four weeks seems like an awful lot for an
It's a
ad.
long time.
We'll just stay with that. And then the Adirondack, is it the Adirondack Daily News? Yeah. And then the Lake Placid News, they're together, and you get 3 days a week with the Adirondack, and with the Lake Placid, you get 7 days a week. And then they also you get a month on their website. So that's a pretty good deal for that. But, and just, I'm going to give my opinion while I'm doing it. Maybe the overlap of the Press Republican covers that area more so than the Adirondack. I don't know that. I really want to do the Press Republican. I just think the Plattsburgh area is one place to look at. So that's just me. We didn't do anything in Buffalo or Syracuse. I know with that, but we really haven't. I mean, we can.
But wouldn't Indeed and ZipRecruiter take care of that?
I would think so. And then, what was it? The one that's going to do? Oh, it's Burlington. Burlington would do monster.com, and then they refresh it every 2 weeks. So you'd move up you might be in a certain place for 2 weeks when you get on.
Right.
Then it comes up, right?
Well, the Press Republican does Monster.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so there is an online presence to the Press Republican, and then you gave me,
Sorry, Burlington does ZipRecruiter.
they also do ZipRecruiter.
Yeah.
So that there's all kinds of spin-offs of all that and how you want to spend your money. But if you were just to go with a month with all of these, you'd be looking at roughly 10,000, and probably for each one, we do them similar, I would imagine, right? So that's just me. So go ahead and
Does Tony have this?
no, I thought she was coming in, but can you email that?
I can hear you.
Did you hear some of those? Well, Tony, you probably really need to see this because the numbers are all over the place, and I've got like a spreadsheet put together. It'd probably do you better there just to see, but the upshot of the total of the spreadsheet is roughly $10,745, give or take. I don't know, $100 maybe. So
Okay.
So the North Country Now, do you know, Steve, because they have different publications for different, like they have a Canton Potsdam version, they have a
Right.
Messina version. Is that for all?
I think so.
Probably, okay.
Yeah. And then with the Watertown, they have four. I think you've got to pay extra if you want to be in Ogdensburg. So when you see Watertown Times, it doesn't carry over to their other papers,
Okay.
whatever they control.
Right.
They have the advanced, and then Anne Marie would know, but she mentioned 4 other publications
Okay.
that you'd have to, that wouldn't cover that.
considering the coverage of the others, I don't really see why we need to do the Adirondack Daily or Lake Placid News.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of my feeling, that I think
Mhm.
you
The
reach more.
Press Republican, and I know they cover
Yeah,
that area. And in the Watertown Times covers that area too.
right.
And we
okay.
can see what part that Press Republican, if they do ZipRecruiter, then we wouldn't need that part. Although that's, when you look at for $550,
Yeah.
that that's not a
That's
bad
not bad.
investment to just reassure that you're on there.
Right. I just made a list again of using the article that you had sent us, Steve. So Plattsburgh for sure. That was like that number 14 on the list, and it also would hit Montreal, would it? The Press Republican?
I imagine,
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it will hit Burlington, Vermont.
right?
right. So
Yep.
Burlington and Montreal are important. I know I'm kind of jumping to the other position. But I feel too like, I mean, maybe down the road, maybe we should just wait and see what kind of applications come in, but that the Buffalo Niagara region is also, I think, pretty
I
important
think
to
we're
look at.
looking at the cost to hire someone from that region will be significantly higher than
Okay,
this way.
okay.
Now, we can advertise both positions.
Yeah,
Well,
they'd have their separate ads,
Yeah, but so is it double this cost?
yes,
It's for each position.
each one. That's for, they give you whatever
Hmm.
the size it would be in there.
Right,
Now you're looking at 16, 17,000.
Right.
They
we
want
can make them shorter, the ads, and point to our website, but that would.
you can cross off the Adirondack.
Okay.
They did that one. The one thing though, it's just, both of them are so important that, not that this justifies it, but we've spent a lot more money.
Mhm.
And Sam knows that
Mhm.
when we did the recruiting for Joe's position and then also for the airport position twice.
Right.
And I believe the first one was in the 30,000 range for when we first went out for our airport manager. And we did well with that one. And then Joe's was quite a bit more, right? The previous CFO.
Mhm.
But yeah, yeah, that kind of drops it down into the 17,000 range. Patty, you've been quiet. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah,
Did you decide that you want to do it for a month?
Oh, well, we're still kind of, we haven't,
That would bring it down to if you targeted.
could we, I mean, how does everyone feel about doing it for 2 weeks? Run it for 2 weeks.
I think if you saturate it kind of for 2 weeks, I don't know. I think people that are looking are going to
Exactly,
catch that. Was
right.
like at the third or fourth week, if someone says, "Hey, have you seen the ad?" and they go, "Oh, it's been in there
Right.
for a month."
Right, that's what I mean. I think that people who are looking, I mean, the type of positions that these aren't just, part-time, run it for a long time, because people are on the fence. I think people are either, looking for a job.
Well, one thing I would say, and maybe I'm prejudiced a little, is that when you have LinkedIn and Indeed and ZipRecruiter, people that can handle that and know how to use that are kind of the people we're looking for.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sorry,
Well,
I don't mean it that
gonna
way,
speak to that,
but-
yeah.
unless you
LinkedIn.
do it online. I think online is where that pool of people that's where they are right now. They're not newspaper.
Right.
Some people you don't have the subscription, or you might have an online subscription. But I think generally the online part of it is going to be a better draw, I guess.
What would it cost
Well-
to advertise on LinkedIn?
I don't know. I didn't even
Because
think
that
of that.
I'm
pops
just
up on
thinking
my
like
phone.
my son has done, and he has a professional job, and he's done several interviews with like some big companies like
Mhm.
Amazon, Etsy, all through LinkedIn. It's always through, I'll be like, how did they, LinkedIn? I hear that a lot.
I used to get, well, and I have 20
Oh.
some odd notifications waiting for me. so I could have more, but I get people are looking at your profile. People are looking at your profile. These jobs would suit your profile.
Yep.
So I get those things all the time.
And if you follow a certain group, like I just follow construction, just as to keep in touch. And they're always sending me, so-and-so's looking for a construction manager or supervisor or whatever, but that's not my thing,
Right.
but I'm sure other people use that for that reason.
Oh,
I didn't even think of that though, you can put an ad on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't,
How
oh,
much
that
does
might
that
be,
go
that might
for?
be,
LinkedIn and Indeed are two.
Well, you might have to be,
part of it.
what's the
Yeah, because there's a
LinkedIn?
level.
You might have to be a subscriber or something. Right?
Yeah, but I
Okay.
know I'm basic LinkedIn and
Me
there's
too.
LinkedIn
Oh.
professional or
Right.
whatever.
But the ads still come. I get them too.
Yeah,
Even taking like a short-term subscription, if you have to have like a certain level membership, might still be.
I don't even think I paid for LinkedIn.
I don't pay for.
I don't
you
either.
don't, you do if you want,
You have the basic.
yeah, basic is free, but if you want, and of course they push it, if you want to be able to do your interviews online, if you want to be able to connect to these employers online, it's the next level up and that one you pay for.
Okay.
I think they're both. I mean, I think all the platforms are super important because I think that print ad is still, although in some ways it's like old school, I think it's really powerful still. I think there's a lot of people who get a printed paper who look, I think it's a good way to generate the buzz.
Mhm.
What about, Steve, I thought you had spoken to, or maybe it was Sam, any professional publications, regional professional publications that might take, I thought maybe,
Somebody mentioned that was a Business Weekly or something, or
yeah,
I think this
Anyway.
covers it.
it does. It's very comprehensive, yes.
But I think you're right. Why do it for a month?
I think a month is a
I
long
think
time.
saturate for 2 weeks is a good
Yep.
plan.
Right.
Do you want it to be online for a month though, or just YouTube?
If we went online for a month, what happens when we're in the middle of interviewing?
Yeah.
That would be my only
Yeah.
concern.
I think we should do 2 weeks, see what
Do the
happens.
2 weeks.
2 weeks across the board.
Tony, what do you think? 2 weeks?
Yeah, I agree with 2 weeks.
And that would be minus, though, we decided to nix the Adirondack Daily,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
Placid News, okay. And add LinkedIn,
Yes,
So that'll again cut that in half again, wouldn't it?
it would. Yeah, these are all for a month, so you can see there is a couple weeklies there. But yeah, that would even reduce it quite a bit.
so it would be very roughly
8,700?
16,
Yeah.
yeah, about 8,000-ish, yeah,
Half of 17, yeah.
okay.
I can live with that.
Mhm.
Did you want the Burlington paper or what?
No, I think Press Republican, we think that'll have enough coverage there.
I'm good with that. I don't know,
And these
Tony.
will start running, we've decided September 1.
And when would the-
Ooh,
No, I-
Mine would have to go out.
No, let's do it.
So it's immediately following the board meeting, once it's
Mhm.
once approved.
Yeah, so let's do that
Okay.
2 weeks after the board meeting.
Mhm.
And then by September 1st, we're starting to see applications.
Okay.
Is that,
So,
Well,
next-
we meet on the 10th, eh?
Mhm.
We
So we're
start
gonna
right
start
at-
advertising on the 11th?
Well, you would advertise probably on the Thursday or Friday.
the 12th or 13th,
Yes, because you want the weekend.
right?
You want to be out there for the
All
weekend.
right, and then
So
close
then
it
we would get
off.
the
close it
14th,
off the last week of August. then,
21st,
Right.
Right?
and then we should have our, right, by the 27th.
So you say,
Do you wanna-
apply by the first?
Or do you want to close it out on the Friday before the first?
Right, because if we start, let's say we post it the 13th, which is Friday, we would get the weekend of the 14th, 15th. Then we would get the following first full week, second weekend, 21, 22, second full week, and then including that weekend, 28, 29. We could do those 3 weekends, 2 full business weeks, 3 weekends.
But that changes that'll be Once you get into a
back up to
weekend, you're into
month.
another week.
Do they have a specific cutoff for, is it?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people try to do that. And I
It's
think
not per day.
when you say that
So it might,
you can't, if you got 3 weekends, that would be 3 weeks.
Probably, especially with my country.
Okay.
Right, because they,
So we would-
I mean,
end it maybe on the 27th.
I would say so. And then
Mhm.
when is the Labor Day weekend? Is that the 6th or something in September?
September 4th and 5th.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're not into it. I would say, yeah, have them in and then we could review them,
Mhm.
both positions
Mhm.
before Labor Day
Mhm.
and
And then
then get a plan forward.
Okay.
So we're closing out about the 27th or?
Yes, goes out at
Yeah.
like 3 PM on the 27th
So if we go from the 13th
or
to the
4,
27th.
3
2
PM,
weeks.
Sounds good to me.
August
I like
27th.
that.
There you go.
Okay, so at our board meeting on the 10th, we are going to move to approve our senior accountant position, as well as approving the employment advertising costs for both positions, our director of economic development and our senior accountant position.
And we should have a
Good.
better number for you on the ad. So we'll have a not to exceed. Well, I might throw a little fluff in there. But-
Maybe like not to exceed $9,000.
Yeah, we'll see what it comes out to.
Okay,
And if it comes to more or whatever, we'll justify it on the lines of how we talked about. There might be some we don't see, or hopefully it'll be less than 9.
well, if we get great candidates, I think it's money well spent.
I agree.
I mean, they're high responsibility positions. We really want quality candidates with the right experience, so.
I mean, it is important to get people hired, but who knows what you're going to get.
I know.
I mean, everybody's complaining about what they're seeing, and maybe we'll get lucky and have a number of people we can choose from, or we may say,
Back to the
Patty,
drawing board.
this isn't, we need to do something different,
Right.
but hopefully, we'll see.
It seems that the positions that used to be what we would call minimum wage, the ones that are now going for 15 an hour, they're the hard ones to fill.
Mhm.
But I do know people right now who are Glens Falls way, Saratoga way, that are looking for jobs that are communications managers, industrial development managers. They can't get interviews.
Okay,
So there seems to be a real difference depending on the job type.
right, okay.
Okay.
All right. So do we need to make a recommendation?
I think you did. The August 10th meeting, you're going to report on the senior accountant's job description, ask for approval by the full board, and approval to start advertising on 8/13 through 8/27 on the employment ad costing that was presented to the committee.
Okay,
Right, Tony?
Yeah, that all sounds good.
all right. So do I need to repeat that, or can I just have a motion to adjourn our committee meeting?
I think we're ready.
Okay,
We don't have anything else, do we?
No,
no,
No?
we need a whole meeting for the handbook, so
We-
that's.
and then some, I
out.
think, right,
Yep.
Yeah, we might need lunch for that one.
yeah. Okay,
Start at 7.
could I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Personnel committee meeting adjourned. Thank you, Tony.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Aye.